So in the previous video, we talked about three types of constraints that we have on the data that we enter in a relation, right? One was implicit model based constraint, the other one was schema based constraint, and the third one was application based constraints, right? So we are going to be talking about schema based constraints mainly. Which are the schema based constraints? Constraints that can be directly expressed in the schemas of data model, right? So application based constraints are difficult to implement in the data model itself, or to be expressed in the schema of the data model, right? It is more related to the meaning of the attributes, and hence it is expressed only by the application programmers, right? So we are going to be mainly talking about the schema based constraint. Let us now look at what are the schema based constraints, right? Let me write it. Schema based constraints. These are the constraints that can be directly expressed in the schemas of the data model, right? What are the data model that we are using? What is the data model? Relational model, right? So the schema based constraints include domain constraints, key constraints, constraints on nulls, constraints on null, and the other one is entity integrity constraint, and referential integrity constraints. Okay. So we are mainly going to be talking about these 5 constraints that are applicable or that are applied on the data that we enter in a relation, right? So let us first talk about domain constraint. What is a domain constraint? Constraints means restrictions, right? So domain constraints say that within each tuple, the value of each attribute must be an atomic value that belongs to the domain, right? Or I should write it, copy down till this part, right? I'll be erasing it because we are now focusing on individual topics, right? So what is a domain constraint? Domain constraints specify that within each tuple, the value of each attribute must be an atomic value that belongs to domain. The value of each attribute A, let us say A, that it is an atomic value that belongs to the domain. Okay, so what it says is, in simple words, it says that the value of each tuple, within each tuple, the value of each attribute must be atomic. Let us say we are talking about this tuple. So in this tuple, all the values for all the attributes within a particular tuple, these values need to be atomic, right? It cannot be multi-value attributes, and it cannot be multi-valued values, and it cannot be composite values, right? So they need to be atomic value, right? That is indivisible. So these values need to be atomic, and these should belong to domain, right? What is the domain of name? Let us say the domain of this attribute name is specified to be the set of all strings that are at max of length 30, right? So we cannot have the value of this attribute as a string whose length is more than 30, right? It should belong to the set of strings. We cannot have an integer value for this particular attribute name. Okay, so domain of name is, if I say set of all strings, then it cannot have an integer value. So that is what domain constraints specify. Domain constraints specify that the value needs to be an atomic value, that is indivisible value, and that value should belong to the domain, right? So that is about the domain constraint. So what is the domain? How do we specify domain? I've given you an example, right? Like the set of all strings. Let us say the domain of this particular attribute student number is set of all integers, or set of all 2-digit integers or 3-digit integers, right? Or if I say that the domain of this particular attribute class is set of all 1-digit integers, or let us say we have an attribute for which the domain is set of all dates. Okay, so we can have well defined domains for attributes, and the value for that particular attribute must belong to the domain, and it should be an atomic value. That is what domain constraints specify, right? So we will look about how to specify what kind of domains are there and what kind of data types are there, like integers, strings, floating point numbers, date, timestamp, and boolean values, and all that when we discuss about SQL, right? SQL. But now we are just restricting ourselves to what this domain constraints specify, right? The value should belong to the domain for every attribute, for every tuple, right? Now let us talk about key constraints, okay? So the second kind of constraint, that schema based constraint, is key constraint. Okay, so what does key constraint say? That we all know, according to the definition of relation, that a relation is a set of tuples, right? So when we talk about a set consists of all the distinct elements, right? It cannot have repetitive elements or duplicate elements. We cannot have a set like 1 1 2 3. It is not a set, right? Why? Because it has a duplicate element. So it should not be the case. We have to remove this for it to be called set, right? So a set always contains distinct elements. Since we have called relation to be a set of tuples, right? Let us say there are 3 tuples in the relation T1, T2, T3. Okay, so we cannot have any duplicate values, or we cannot have any duplicate tuples. Hence, all the tuples in a relation also need to be distinct. What I mean to say is, since a relation is a set of tuples and a set has to have all the distinct elements, so the relation also has to have distinct tuples. It cannot have same tuple 2 times, right? I cannot add any tuple with the same values, right? I cannot add a tuple whose name with the value of attribute name as Smith, 17 as student number, class as 1, and major as CS. Why? Because it will not allow it, because the relational model specifies that a relation is a set of tuples, right? So I cannot add a tuple with the exact same values for all the attributes, right? So that is what key constraint specifies. Key constraint says that no 2 tuples in any state of the relation can have same combination of values for all the attributes, right? Let me write it. It says that no 2 tuples in any state of the relation can have same combination of values for all the attributes. Right, so what does it mean? That I cannot have the exact same tuple, we cannot have the exact another tuple in this particular relation with the exact same value as this tuple or this tuple or this tuple, right? So no duplicates are allowed within a relation according to the definition of relation, right? So that is what key constraint specifies, okay? So let us now define the concept of super key, key, candidate keys, and all of that stuff, right? So super key is a set of attributes, right? A set of attributes that we define for a particular relation schema that no 2 tuples can have same combination of values for these attributes, right? Let us say that student number and class, student number and class. I have specified these 2 attributes for this particular relation schema, student, right? I have specified these 2 attributes in such a way that no 2 tuples can have same combination of values for these 2 attributes, right? That is, I cannot have another tuple in this particular relation with this value 17, 1. Let us say that is according to the meaning of this particular relation schema. How is it specified or how is it derived? It is derived from the requirement analysis, right? According to the meaning of the relation, right? So if I say that SNO and class, this combination of values should not have duplicate values, it means that no two tuples in this particular relation can have same combination of values for these two attributes. That is, if I have 17, 1 for this one particular tuple in this relation, then I cannot have 17, 1 for another tuple. Okay, so that is called as a super key, right? Or let me define it more formally. Let us say this set of attributes is called SK. That is, SNO and class is called SK. This set of attributes is called SK, right? So according to the concept of super key, T1 of SK is not equal to T2 of SK. What is T1 and T2? T1 and T2 are two tuples. Let us say T1 is this tuple and T2 is this tuple. Okay, T1 and T2 are this tuple. Then the value of T1 for this particular set of attributes, SK is serial number and student number and class. Okay, so what I mean to say is T1 of SK means the value of tuple T1 for these two attributes, S number and class, cannot be equal to any other tuple T2. Okay, cannot be equal to T2's super key value. Okay, so that means that no two tuples can have same combination of values for these attributes specified by SK. That is the meaning of super key. I hope you got it. How should I say it? That is, it is more restrictive in that particular form. No two tuples can have same combination of values for all the attributes. That is fine. Okay, but it is more restrictive. How? I can now have according to this key constraint, what happens is I cannot have any tuple with the same set of attributes, right? Let me give an example. Let me say that according to the key constraint, this cannot be the case. Smith 17 1 CS. This cannot be the case, right? This cannot be the case according to the key constraint, right? But according to super key, what happens is, what it will say that there cannot be any tuple like this also. Okay, so according to the key constraint, it is fine because no two tuples in any in any state of the relation can have same combination of values for all the attributes. So these two tuples do not have same combination of values for all the attributes. In this particular attribute, the values are different. So this constraint is fine. But according to the super key, it is violating. Why? Because super key says that it cannot have same combination of values for these attributes, but it has it, right? So super key is more restrictive. Right, so that is what I want to say. So super key is the set of attributes for which, or you can say the subset of attributes for which we define that no two tuples can have same combination of values for these attributes. So regarding super key, what I can tell you in simpler terms is it is used to uniquely identify each tuple within a relation, right? If I say that this is a super key for the relation, then using these two attributes, I can identify any tuple in the relation uniquely. How? If I say that tell me the details of the tuple that has values 17 and 1 as the value for the attributes SNO and class, right? Then it will give me just this tuple. Why? Because no other tuple in this particular schema will have the same combination of values for these two attributes. Why? Because super key has enforced that, right? That is, we have enforced that particular property on the relation schema that no two tuples can have same combination of values for these two attributes, right? So that is about super key. Okay, so super key is used to enforce uniqueness constraint. What is the uniqueness constraint? That no two tuples in any relation state of the relation schema can have the same combination of values for these attributes, right? Also, every relation has a default super key. Can you think of it? What can be the default super key? Every relation has at least one default super key. Okay, so let me tell you the set of the default super key that every relation is the set of all attributes, right? The set of all attributes forms the default super key for a relation. Why? Because what is super key? Super key is used to uniquely identify a tuple in a relation. So set of all attributes can be used to uniquely identify a tuple in a relation. How? Because no two tuples can have same combination of values. What I mean to say is, if I say if there is no super key in the relation, then I can say the set of all attributes is a super key. How? Because if I specify all the attributes, the value of all attributes, name, SNO, class, major, then it should be able to uniquely identify a tuple. Why? Because no two tuples can have the same combination of values. Let us say if I specify Smith 171 CS, then it should correspond to only this particular tuple. How does this property hold? Is because we haven't allowed any two tuples to have same combination of values for all the attributes. That is, we cannot have Smith 171 CS for any other tuple. Because it is a set of tuples. Relation is a set of tuples, and we have to have distinct tuples in a particular relation, right? So the set of all attributes is the default super key for a relation. Okay, now let us define what is key. Okay, so key, the concept of key is important. Let us define what is a key. Okay. So a key, formally I'll be first writing the definition formally, and then we'll look at how informally a key K of a relation schema. Okay, so why am I saying relation schema and not relation? Because relation can also mean relation state, right? So but the key or a super key is a property of relation schema. What does that mean is, even if I add more tuples in the relation, okay, this property will not change. Okay, let us say at this particular point of time this property is following, but it should not happen that if I add more tuples this property is not following. Okay, so it is a property of the relation schema as a whole. What is the relation schema? The description of a relation, right? So it is the property of description of a relation, inherent property of the description of a relation. So it should not be like for this particular relation state we are specifying this key, and if the relation state changes, that is if we add more tuples, this property will violate. This should not be the case. Okay, that property should be followed for all the relation instances or every possible valid state of the particular relation, right? So a key K of a relation schema R is a super key of R. Super key of R means no two tuples can have same combination of values for these attributes K. Okay, so a key K of a relation schema R is a super key of R with the property that, with the additional property that removing any attribute A from K leaves a set of attributes K dash that is no longer a super key of R. Okay, so what is key is? Key is a minimal super key. What is minimal is? Minimal means we cannot remove anything from it and still the condition holds, right? Minimal means it cannot be reduced further. So a key is a minimal super key. So what it is saying is, a key K of a relation schema R is a super key of R. So a key is a super key only. Okay, with the additional property that removing any attribute A from K leaves a set of attributes K dash that is no longer a super key of R. That is, if I remove any attribute from K. Okay, K is the set of attributes from which I have removed A. So let us make it capital K and capital K dash. Okay, K dash. Okay. So if I remove any attribute from K, any attribute A from K, it will leave me with a set of attributes K dash that is no longer super key. Okay, what? Okay, so the example goes like this. Let us say there is another relation. Mm, okay. Sorry, just like this. Okay, let us say this is the relation. Okay, so let us say the key for the relation, super key for the relation is AB. Okay, why super key AB combinedly can be used to uniquely identify each tuple in the relation. Okay, if I say 1A, it means this particular relation. No other relation has the values of A and B as 1A, right? If I say 1B, then this particular tuple. If I say 2B, then this particular tuple. 2C, then this particular tuple. No other tuple has values 2C for A and B. Okay, so this is these two attributes, combination of these two attributes are used to uniquely identify a tuple, right? Let us say this is the super key. Okay, also this is the key for the relation. How? If I remove any attribute, so it is a key K of a relation schema R is a super key of R, this is a super key of R, right? So if I remove any attribute A, let us say I remove A. So what it is saying, removing any attribute A from K leaves a set of attributes K dash that is no longer a super key. Now if I use B as a super key, is B a super key? No. If I say the value of B as small b, is it able to uniquely identify a tuple in the relation? No, because it maps to two tuples in the relation. Okay, so it is not able to uniquely identify a tuple in the relation. So this is this is a key. AB is a key. Even if I remove B and say that only using A I can have a super key, so it will not be possible, right? What I mean to say is, if I remove an attribute from AB or an attribute from the key, I am left with the set with the attributes that is no longer a super key. That is it will not be able to uniquely identify tuples in a relation. That is, A alone cannot be used to identify tuples. Okay, so if I say the value of A as 1, it will map to two tuples. It is not mapping to one tuple. If I say the value of 2, it is mapping to two tuples, right? So this is not also a super key. So key is a minimal super key. Minimal means we cannot remove any attribute from this particular set. We cannot remove any attribute from the key and still we have the super key property. That is, still we are able to uniquely identify each tuple in a relation, right? So that is about the key. Key is a minimal super key. I hope you got it. So this is it for this particular video, because otherwise the length will go to very long. So I hope you liked this. I hope you understood what I was trying to explain. And if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Okay, so it will motivate me to make more videos. And press the notification bell so you get notified every time I put up a new video. I'll see you in my next one.